Hey moms, I am so excited. Here we are with Jeni Cohen, and Jeni is from Washington. Introduce yourself, Jeni.
Hi guys, I'm Jenny.
Jeni currently lives in Mesa, and now how long have you lived in Arizona and out of Washington?
Let's see, it's been 22 years,
Wow.
actually.
So it's
Yeah.
almost like you're a native of Arizona.
Yes. Yep.
So what part of Washington did you move from specifically?
So I'm from North Central Washington. Most people either know Seattle or Spokane, which is kind of right on the Idaho border. I'm right in the middle, but just about 45 minutes south of Canada. A little tiny town called Bridgeport, and it's right on the Columbia River. So it's kind of not really by anything that anyone knows, out in the middle of nowhere.
Cool. So why did you choose AZ to begin with?
Honestly, I didn't choose AZ, it chose me. I kind of just came here. I had a friend who had some family and friends here, and I had never really traveled much outside of the Pacific Northwest. So I was given the opportunity to just come down and just kind of hang out and get out of Washington for a little bit. So I came down and my car broke down. So I stayed here for a little bit.
So you
And
were
by
forced. It was forced
Yeah,
entry.
exactly. It was a force. They kept me here. They held me hostage. And by the time I got my car back up and running, I had met my future husband and kind of fallen for him a little bit, and just was like, you know what, this is kind of fun. Nobody knows me here. I get to start my own life, and I just stayed.
Nice. And you were fairly young when that happened.
Yes, I was 20 when
Wow.
I came here. Yeah.
So right fresh out of high school, basically.
Yep, exactly.
How long did it take to move here? I know your circumstances are a little bit different than somebody who would have kind of, gone through all these steps to plan this. When we're 20, we don't necessarily do that. About how long did it take start to finish? Do you remember?
Well, it's kind of different because truly just was planning to come for like a couple weeks. And so I just had clothes in a suitcase thrown in the back of my car. And I just ended up staying, and I didn't go back to Washington to get more things for a couple of years, to be honest with you. So started all over with furniture, with my belongings. Like I just really only had the clothes that I threw in my trunk, and that was it. It just was, and I was still young, so it's not like I had a bunch of furniture back home and things back home. So it wasn't like I left a bunch of things behind. I just hadn't accumulated furnishings and stuff yet. So I didn't really need to go back for anything.
How exciting. That like
Yeah.
gives me, that's so thrilling, so cool. So you've got a couple of kids
Yes.
now, fast
Yes.
forward a couple of years. So think having children moving from Washington, okay? So kind
Right.
of like a little bit of a different spin than how it actually happened.
Right.
What do you think you would need to do to prepare for childcare? Or, let's just say you were moving right now with the girls that you have now that are in school, they're little girls.
Right.
What kinds of things can you picture somebody from Washington having to do to prepare to come?
Honestly, the first thing I would do is look for a group like Mom Nation and join it, because it has so many resources, and I'm a planner, and I get massive anxiety if I don't have everything planned out and knowing exactly what I'm coming to, which is crazy considering how I came here was completely unplanned. But now my adult self, I need to have a whole game plan and everything set up and research everything. So something like Mom Nation, where you can come in and you have resources from people who are here, and they can tell you what neighborhoods or what area, what daycares, what schools.
Mhm.
That's huge to me, and I would absolutely rely so much on that. And then I would probably come and do a lot of visiting. Of course, you would want to kind of get an idea before you just come here. Like, yes, you got great resources, but do you really like it in person? Um,
Right.
but yeah, I mean, relying on a group like Mom Nation with moms who are here and can give you great advice, that's exactly what I would do.
Totally agree. It's definitely valuable. Any particular source that you're aware of, having lived here so long and put a couple kids through school now, as far as like where can moms go to figure out what school? There's so many schools here. Like I don't know, back in Washington is probably the same thing from back in New Hampshire where I'm from, where you like went to the one school, like one.
Exactly. Yeah, like I'm from a super small town where you had one school. You didn't have an option of going anywhere else. I can say for myself, my oldest is 21 now, but when she started school, I did a ton of research because here there's so many options. I was kind of overwhelmed with, well, where do I send my kid to school?
Mm-hmm.
So at that time, greatschools.net was a huge, huge resource for me. So much, they had parent reviews and all of their test scores and everything were on there. So that was a great resource for me. I don't know how relevant it is today, if it's still as great as it was back then for me when my oldest was starting school, but
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that was really helpful for me. So at least you can kind of, and it's great because it gives you not only private schools and charter schools and public schools, like you have it all there. So you, can compare, since there's so many options in Arizona for what school to go to.
For sure. And I've heard even relatively simple of a process to homeschool. So you got that too.
Yeah. Yes.
Cool. Is there a part of town here in Arizona that's most like your home state in terms of people, sports, scenery, anything like that? Like if somebody were to come from your home state, got a little homesick, wanted to kind of reconnect with their people, is there any particular part of town where they would go?
So here in the valley, I haven't found anything that really reminds me of back home, but I would say Prescott is pretty darn close. And I love going up there because it just kind of takes me back home a little bit. It's green, a little bit smaller town. That's kind of more what it's like back home. So I love going there for that reason, get away from the desert. It's so deserty here. It's hard to feel like home here.
Exactly, because your scenery is a lot different. It's lush and green and humidity, right?
Yes. Yes.
Is there anything that you wish you would have known then about Arizona, about the move that you know now?
I think it's really hard to prepare for the heat and how it affects your mood, your body, your skin, your hair, your diet. Everything changes when you come here. And I think being educated on it is something you need to do. Everything changes. I mean, my hair, I remember I could just go without having to even blow dry my hair back home. And it's so weird that it just changed here, probably because not only is the temperature different and the humidity is non-existent, but the water is also very hard compared to back home.
Yeah.
So everything changed, and all of a sudden my hair became frizzy and my skin got really dry, and I got nosebleeds actually for about 3 months because
Me
it was
too.
so dry compared to back home. So I think just preparing on that, and I'm sure there's things you can do to prepare, or different lotions and products and drinking more water,
Mm-hmm.
had I known to do that.
I didn't think about that either because back east, probably the same thing for you. The humidity levels are so much higher that you don't necessarily, everybody should drink water, but you don't necessarily need to as much as you do here. And it's extremely easy to get dehydrated here, especially in the summer.
It is, and it's actually dangerous. And I remember actually probably about a week into having been here, I was bored, and I'm like, I'm going to go for a walk. My car was broken down, so I couldn't go drive anywhere to go explore. And this was, it was like the end of May, so not super, super hot yet, but still warm. And I got about a block in and was like, oh my gosh, I had to go into a store. I was like, can you please give me some water? Because I was like, wasn't prepared. My body wasn't used to the temperatures here. I almost fainted, and I didn't know anyone. Who would I have called to come help me? I didn't know
Right.
anyone here. So, it can be dangerous if you're not aware. And how often do you hear of people from out of town come here and they go for a hike because it's so beautiful and you want to explore, and you end up sick or dead or in the hospital? It's just dangerous. So
Yeah, or we see the choppers go up the mountain to go rescue them because they can't get back down.
exactly.
Without passing out. Yeah, that's huge, 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 huge. Something that I learned too, moving here, very big. Lastly, any advice you'd like to offer for families looking to move from Arizona to Arizona from Washington? Anything that we didn't go over that you can think of?
I just can't stress how great Mom Nation is. That is my advice, is come to us and ask for help, and use us as a resource for meeting new friends and, feeling welcome here. It can be so scary to completely start your life over and move somewhere. And you may have family here. Maybe you don't, maybe you know nobody and you're just here, and it can be really scary to get out there and start all over. So having something like Mom Nation where we're all here for you. We invite you with open arms to come and join us and bring your family to our events and get to know us. And it's kind of like a family that you never had before, and we're here with open arms. So I can't recommend our group enough.
Oh, I love it. And I totally agree, because not only is it great for moms to connect and get the information that we need in order to get settled and, you know, hopefully make all the right decisions for our families, but it's also a great place for our kids to connect and to find friends right away. Because you know how, you know, especially the older they get, they kind of get a little obviously connected with their friends from where they're coming from, but it's a kind of can be a sad situation, especially if they're going into a school where they don't know anybody or a neighborhood where they don't know anybody. So it's kind of nice to have that built-in friend for them, and for the guys too, for husbands too. I found that it's been pretty beneficial.
Absolutely. Yeah. The guys don't go out and meet people quite the same as moms do. So yeah, it's a great resource for them to have. And even my husband, he's from Arizona, but since I've joined the group, he's made so many friends as well. So, I mean, it's great.
Totally agree. Well, thank you so much, Jenny. It was great talking to you.
Thank you, Katie.
All right. See you later, moms.
Bye.